Hey everybody. Before I actually go through that Airbnb data sales process template that I've been hinting at that I've wanted to get into for quite a while now, I need to make something clear, okay? So this data sales process template is something that's going to help you close deals. It's going to be it's what I've always used to actually get the landlord to understand what their property value is, and really showing them the numbers is what closes the deal. However, you still need to build credibility with the landlord. The landlord still needs to believe that you are the person who is the best person for the job, right? And the sales process isn't always as clean as just starting off by showing them this data sales, all the data, and closing the deal right off the bat. So let me explain what I'm talking about here. I just went through all the different tactics that we can do, right? And for the video emailing, the cold calling, the video viewings, or sorry, the cold viewings, those are all going to be tactics where you can actually lead with the data. So you're showing them like, hey, your property could be more profitable as an Airbnb, and so that's how you're starting everything off, right? And so it makes it very easy to then walk into those meetings, and when you actually, if you're doing a cold email, and then they're like, okay, let's meet up, and you meet up with them, and you bring the entire template with you, and you just start off by selling them on the actual template. Usually when that's the sales process, when you're leading with the data, it's really easy because you lead with all the data, you lead with all the information. They're already sold because they've seen the numbers, and then you simply just tell them like, yes, I know how to manage, right? Like I know how to do all these things, I have experience with it, or I've learned how to do it. And so the actual hosting part of it, the managing part of it, is kind of like second to. In most cases, when you lead with the data, the landlord is just automatically like, well, if you brought all this information, of course you know how to manage. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't have gotten this far if you didn't know how to do that, right? And that's typically been my experience when I lead with the data. However, you're not always leading with the data. If you get referred to somebody, you still when you get referred to somebody, you actually are leading off by building your credibility, okay? And you're coming in and you're actually saying like, I'm an Airbnb host, I have experience with this, I know what I'm doing, or I don't have any homes just yet, but I've watched all the YouTube videos, I've read the books, I've gone through the courses, I understand every single thing that I need to do, I know all the different softwares I'm going to need, and I know how I'm going to put this together in the best possible way so that it's most beneficial for you. And so the idea here is that you still need to build credibility, and it just kind of it flips, like the amount of credibility that you need to build is going to depend on if you lead with the data or not. So if you lead with the data, you don't need to build as much credibility because the data is building the credibility for you, and then it's kind of like a second two thing that you can host and you know how to manage and you know how to do everything. Whereas the when you don't lead with the data, you are going to have to build credibility and explain to these people that you are the person who knows what they're doing, and then you kind of transition into the data. Now, mind you, I always try and transition it to the data as quick as I possibly can because I find it to be such an easier conversation than trying to beat my chest and say I'm the absolute best person that there is for this and nobody else is better. I more so just come in like, hey, let's think about this in a very logical process format using numbers to make you understand, right? So I just feel the need to clarify that with you that it's not just this data sales template that you're going to be using to close the entire sale. There's still the credibility package that I showed you from Eric Mueller that you're going to want to use to build credibility with these people. All I'm getting at is that depending on how that sales process ends up working out, you'll either be building more credibility for you on the managing side or more credibility for you on the data side. Okay, and always try to bring the data in as soon as possible because it makes the entire sales process a lot easier. Okay, so let's actually get into the template and we'll go from there.